Juror, Central Community College, Grand Island campus, Perceptive speech, communication class on 12 Angry Men. I picked juror number 8 to do my speech on. Juror number 8, also known as Davis. I feel that Davis was a complicated man in sorts, but also a very rational man. He was an architect, and because he was an architect, he just couldn't let things sit without discussing and knowing why things were the way they were. His feelings, he had strong feelings, but he was a very rational man on containing his feelings. And his values, he had very high values in my opinion. He needed to know more information about a lot of things before he could make a final decision. On the first go-around, he pled not guilty. Or no, he didn't plead it. He voted not guilty. And I believe there's two reasons he voted not guilty. The first reason is that this group of men needed to discuss the whole trial before they just sent somebody to the death penalty. And because he was an architect, he just wanted to double check all his facts and figures. And the second reason I believe that he voted not guilty is he was basically playing the devil's advocate. He's not going to go along with a group of men without a little bit of talk. Let's just don't walk in, everybody vote guilty, and send this guy away without at least discussing it first. He had a lot of good points during the whole thing. The knife situation. When he asked for the exhibit, the knife, they brought it in, and then he pulls out an identical knife, throws it on the table, where the shop owner who sold the defendant the knife said it was one of a kind, the only one he'd ever seen, but yet juror number 8 was able to find it just walking around a few blocks away from where it happened. In my eyes, that's kind of iffy. You know, can you convict somebody on they actually used this knife and it was one of a kind when, you know, within a half hour somebody could find another knife? The floor plan. I thought the floor plan was very interesting. The floor plan was used to know how far the distance was from one room to the main door, from a bedroom to a door, and how, you know, somebody would travel that. The old man, yeah, I agree. The old man that testifies, he heard, "I'll kill you," and then he heard a thump on the floor. I'd have to question that too. They said that he was kind of favoring one leg as he walked into the courtroom. Well, nobody really knows how long it took him to get from his bedroom to the door to see somebody running down the stairs, if in all fact he actually saw somebody. But his story is he believes he saw somebody. Now, when they reenacted it, Davis drug one foot. We don't know how fast this old gentleman walked. He could have drug it pretty quick because he was in a panic and needed to see. And then again, when he come into the courtroom, he might have kind of drugged and walked pretty slow, trying to hide that bad leg. We don't know that. The speed of the L cars, you know, the L train, well, that's kind of iffy. They finally settled on 10 seconds going by. 10 seconds isn't a very long time in my book. And just looking through the last 2 cars of a 6 car, if you figure that out, you've only probably got 2.5, maybe 3 seconds on the last 2 cars. How much can you see in 3 seconds? Especially looking out a window. And then the noise. The noise of one of those elevated trains, they said, is a deafening sound. How can a person sleep, let alone when the train's going by, hear somebody yell from across the street? It's possible the apartment below might hear a scream, but somebody across the tracks, I'm not too sure about that. As in Maslow's hierarchy of need, I believe that juror number 12 is cognitive. He needs the knowledge and understanding of things. That's where I would rate him in that. He needs to understand why this happened and how this people saw this, why people are saying this when it's almost impossible for them. The lady across the street, she said she was lying in bed. The knowledge come out that, well, she wore glasses. Now, nobody knows if she was farsighted or nearsighted. That's not the point. She wore glasses was the point. The point was, you don't sleep with your glasses on. When you get up and look out a window, she didn't have her glasses on. They come to that conclusion. So her eyewitness statement was, yeah, she saw two figures, but could she really identify the person across the street? I believe his credibility comes with mostly all of his actions. He posed questions. He never made real statements. He kept saying, well, couldn't it be possible? Couldn't it be possible? He kept posing those, which that's real good, because when they asked him why he voted not guilty, he says, well, I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if he's not guilty. He says, I just need to hear more discussion on it. And I believe discussion is good, especially as a juror. You just can't sit there in the box through a whole trial, come in and make up your mind. You need to discuss the facts. Other people might have seen a different point of view. In all, it comes down to, you know, he really wasn't bullied by anybody, although other jurors tried to bully him. You know, the old man, juror number 9, that old guy was a wise old man. And finally, when he got to speak, he just kept telling everybody he was talking. I really believed everybody listened to him, and especially juror number 8, because juror number 9 was the first one to back up juror number 8 and saw that there was a reasonable doubt. And that's what I think all juror number 8 wanted to do, was prove, is there or is there not a reasonable doubt? His credibility is really strong in this one because he posed questions to the other jurors. He didn't take time to make a statement, not like some of the prejudiced people in that, well, you know they're kind, or they just kill each other every weekend. That's prejudiced statements, or they're never going to be out of that. You know they're kind? What is their kind? Their kind is you, me, everybody else. Just because you've come up in a certain background doesn't mean that they can stereotype you. This jury was really stereotyping this defendant. I admit the kid had, grew up a hard life, according to what we heard, which a lot of people grow up a hard life, but a lot of people turn out to be real good people. So, I think juror number 8, Davis, wanted to give this kid the benefit of the doubt and actually see if they could come to a conclusion that he was either guilty or not guilty. The conclusion was he was not guilty. And I think Davis did a very good job of being basically an informal leader on this. He was posing questions. He let the leader lead, but he would pose questions and make other people think. And he would want answers. So, in my opinion, juror number 8, Davis, was an excellent juror. And when we are on a jury, we should go into that deliberation room and actually pose questions if we have any, and not just make up our mind right away. That is my perceptive speech. Thank you.